What's going on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here, and I want to talk to you about a book that I just recently finished reading, Teen Titans Earth 1 Volume 2, and this is written by Jeff Lemire with art by Andy McDonald, and this picks up just a couple months after the events of Volume 1, where Beast Boy, Terra, Cyborg, and Tempest escaped from Star Labs, and basically all of these characters were experimented on and given superpowers based on DNA from Starfire, who had crashed on Earth like 18 years previously, and they were all kind of joined together by visions that were sent to them by Raven, and then by the end of Volume 1, all the characters are joined together except for Raven and Starfire. They're off separately doing their own thing, but then everyone else is hiding out from the government and Star Labs, basically just trying to live without anybody finding them. This volume has Niles Calder, who was involved with the project that created all these characters, but he was off on a separate branch of the project, and he has his own group of characters, Kid Flash, Wonder Girl, and Cole, and he sends them to capture this team, and then hilarity ensues. That's basically the plot of this story. So my big complaint about Volume 1 was that it was all origin stuff, and I was thinking, you know, it's kind of crazy that we get a 120, 130 page origin story, and then we're going to have to wait 2 years for the next volume. But I was thinking at least when we get the next volume, we will be done with origin stuff, and we'll be able to move on with an actual story. And unfortunately, that's not really true here. It still feels like we're in origin territory. A little bit of a spoiler here, but the team is still being defined as of this book. At the end of this book, once again, it feels like, okay, now the team is set up, so now we can start doing stories, and we've got new characters that we can play with. The problem is, we're going to have to wait 2 more years to see some actual stories that are not origin stuff, and I just don't know if it's worth the wait. I would personally rather get volumes a little faster than what we've been getting them. 2 years is a really long time to wait for something that's basically the equivalent of 6 issues. Personally, I wouldn't be bothered at all if the Earth 1 stuff just started doing ongoing stories, like just do an ongoing series of issues instead of original graphic novels. Maybe the quality would go down a little bit, I don't know, because they would have to rush what they're doing, because it takes them a crazy amount of time just to do this much comic right here. So maybe they would feel like they were being rushed if they started doing single issues that are acting as a sequel to these original graphic novels, but I feel like if we did that, if we had 12 issues a year to explore this team and tell more stories, I feel like we could get to know these characters and get to know this world a little bit better than what we are. Because the Earth 1 stuff has been going on for like 4 years now or a little more, and I barely feel like any of it has even scratched the surface. I barely feel like we've gotten to really explore this world. Compare this to the Ultimate Universe that started at Marvel in the early 2000s, and after a year, it really felt like they were really starting to explore that world that they were creating, and it really felt like they were trying to establish a new world, and you were getting to see some stories, and after the first year, you were pretty much done with your origin stuff. Here, I mean, it's been 4 years, and we're still getting origin stuff for some of these books. I enjoyed this a lot, but I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much if I had paid $22 for it, which is the retail price. I got mine online at a discount, so I enjoyed it for half off, but I don't know if I would recommend anyone buy it at full retail price. I don't know if I would recommend it to anybody if you're not a huge Teen Titans fan. I've always been a Teen Titans fan since I started reading DC Comics, and I like this alternate universe version of the team, but I do wish that we could actually get away from the origin stuff and just start doing stories with this team. It really feels like they were taking 2 years just to set up, hey, this is the team that we're going to be using. And that's basically all that I have to say. The art team is different here than what it was in the previous volume. I like the Dotsons and their artwork, but I also like the art here. At times, McDonald's art kind of sort of reminds me of John Byrne, but it's very different. It also has shades of other artists. You know, he's not 100% John Byrne, obviously, but I really like the artwork here. It is different from the Dotsons, but I think it works pretty well. It's not worse than the Dotsons, it's not better, it's about equal to the Dotsons, but it is different art, obviously. So overall, I don't have a whole lot to say about this book. Basically, I do think that it's a little disappointing that they're still doing origin stuff, so hopefully, knock on wood, Volume 3 is going to be getting away from origin stuff. Who knows, but hopefully we can really start to explore some of these characters and actually get to know some of these characters, because a lot of this feels like it's just plot, especially towards the end of the book. There are a bunch of like big splash pages in this book, and I don't really care for splash pages just because it takes up so much room, and then it's like, before you know it, you don't get to know any of these characters because you've got a big page and then it's like one word on that page and it's a big explosion or something like that, or it's a big reveal, and then that's less space that you have to get to know these characters and get to explore who they are. And I don't really feel like this book got to do that enough. We get a little bit of stuff with relationships between Tara and Cyborg, and then we really rush some other relationships in this book between some other characters, and I won't spoil all of that, but I really do wish that we could just slow down a little bit, get to know these characters, but also give us some more stories than one every 2 years. But that's all I have to say about Teen Titans Earth 1 Volume 2. I enjoyed it, but I don't think that it's the best of the Earth 1 books. I think that it is a little disappointing that we're still kind of covering origin territory even 2 years after the first volume came out. But those are my thoughts on this book. I hope that you guys liked this video, and I hope I was able to help you decide if you should check this book out. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and if you did like this video, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will be doing some other videos throughout the week and in the weeks to come. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.